What's going on, everybody? How you guys doing? So what I want to do right now is kind of go back over and really review best ways to get your best score out of DBQ. Okay. Sometimes it's the more stressful part, but we'll go into that and give you guys some pointers and things that I have talked to other teachers about and really agree that these are the best methods to get your best score. All right. So the first thing you need to do is make sure you stay positive, stay fighting, stay brave, stay ambitious, stay focused, stay strong. All right. If you do that, no matter what, you always will be straight and ready to go. Okay, so let's go and get started. All right, so the first thing we'll do is kind of go over some of the changes that's on curve for the 2019-2020 school year for the COVID-19 issues. For AP World History and also for AP US History, it will be a DBQ with 5 documents. We'll go over updated rubric with you in a moment. For AP US History, the test date is going to be May 15th. However, the test dates in general will be from May 11th through May 22nd. There will be June test dates for makeups. I will be able to get your responses by, and all your teachers for that same matter, will be able to get your responses by May 26th. Accommodations will be given for anybody that already has set those up. Okay. So how would the exam work? Scores will be accepted by college universities as far as College Board's understanding. It is open book and open notes. Courses will be based on the application. So how can you prove your points? Not necessarily memorization, which is a very much a college-based ideal. You cannot talk via text or anything else to other students. There will be comprehensive and strict set of protocols in place to prevent cheating. If you're found cheating, the consequences can be extremely harsh. Your school will be notified. AP scores will be canceled. Any colleges you're applying to will also be notified. You may be prohibited from taking anything else as far as SATs, subject tests, SAT subject tests, CLPs, and also future AP tests as well. So you got to make sure you really, really be honest and just take the test the way you're going to be able to take it. Let's go back. I want to make sure I said something I did. Okay, cool. All right. So you will be able to take the test on any of your electronic devices. You have to pick one device. You also have the option to hand write your device. However, whatever device you open your test up to, you must also submit on that test. Okay. I would suggest typing just for the simple fact that many of you have been using AP Classroom, so that's the ideal way because you've been using that platform. Pleasure report, like I said already, so make sure you cite everything or paraphrase. Paraphrasing is an easier way, and make sure you guys provide, in this case, your document author and name, as far as last name, and then also the U.S. published. That way you cover everything. If you review what I covered in the paragraph presentation earlier, that also be helpful. You will have to track your own time because everything submitted after the time would not be counted. You have a total of 45 minutes with an additional 5 minutes for uploading if you have written out your assignment. College Board will provide simulations to practice the submission process, and you will need to have access to the online testing system 30 minutes before we actually get started on the test itself. All right, so here is the video that I did also on Paragraphs 101. Here's the URL. Here's also the QR code for you guys to check that out. So now let's go ahead and get into more details about the new updated rubric. So 2 things are the same. It's going to be the contextualization, which is a point, and then the thesis, which is a point. Please make sure you guys read over to the far right where it gives you the decision rules as far as how you earn those points. Here are some changes now. Evidence is now out of 5 points. So you get 1 point for uses the content of at least 2 documents to address the topic of the prompt, and supports an argument in response to the prompt using at least 4 documents. They add an additional point as far as if you're able to support an argument in response to the prompt using 2 documents. So, in other words, use 4 documents. Okay, I'm gonna probably say argue, maybe use all 5. But for the 2020 admission only, this intermediate point will be awarded to students who can support an argument with fewer documents than in the typical exam year. So again, that extra added point is only for this 2020 administration. Make sure you guys also are reading over decision rules as far as how you get those points. All right. Evidence beyond the documents. You get 1 point if you use at least one additional piece of specific historical evidence relevant to an argument about the prompt. This has to be gone beyond that of your documents. So for the 2020 only administration, you guys will get another added point if you can describe a second piece of specific historical evidence beyond the documents relevant to an argument about the prompt. So instead of just having one piece of historical evidence that's relevant in argument to your prompt, you want to be able to do two in this case here. Make sure you guys also still read this section over here, talk about how you actually earn that point based on the rubric. All right, final changes. So analysis and reasoning is now worth 3 points. So 1 point for one document, explain how or why the document point of view, purpose, historical situation, and or audience is relevant to an argument. You get, for a second document, you get another point if you explain how or why the document point of view, purpose, historical situation, and or audience is relevant to an argument. All right, so that second point is only for the 2020 administration, so make sure you guys watch that too. And then you get another point for demonstrating a complex a complex understanding of the historical development that is the focus of the prompt. Use evidence to collaborate, qualify, or modify an argument that addresses the question. Okay, so if you look at that, that's really the breakdown of how you get your points. So if we go back, went too far back. The overall point value now in this rubric is worth 10. Okay, so it's now worth 10 points. Okay, so that's only for the 2020 administration. So now the next piece that I'm going to cover with you guys is really more so general guidelines to get most points. Remember, the rubric for the 2020 administration is 10 and not the standard 7 that you have in other years. All right, so for this administration, you're only going to have 45 minutes for the 2020 administration. Here is the breakdown for any other administration for the AP exam. But for U.S. history, for the 2020 administration, it's going to be only a 45-minute test. You get 5 minutes to upload. All right, so the first paragraph, I'm still saying make sure you guys do contextualization and also do your thesis. Contextualization, what is happening in or around the time period that builds up to your thesis statement. This information used cannot come from the documents. You must provide 2 specific pieces of evidence here. 45 sentences at the max. Remember I said 3 to 5. So examples, in the years leading up to blah, blah, blah. The period before blah, blah, blah. Make sure you directly connect to your thesis. And your thesis must address all parts of the question and have 3 arguing points. So again, this is where you have a 3-pronged thesis, which is similar to what I covered in the paragraphs 101 presentation. Change and continuity question, 2 change and 1 continuity, or 1 change and 2 continuities. Periodization is a turning point. How was it before the event and how was it different after? Cause and effect, 2 cause and 1 effect, or 2 effects and 1 cause. Comparison, 2 similarities and 1 difference, or 1 similarity and 2 differences. These are also things you want to consider when you're doing your introduction. It's your first paragraph. All right, so we already talked about, you guys can look at this rubric again. This right here is not going to be too big of a difference, but you got the points there for thesis and contextualization. All right, now, talk about the argument. Remember, these points are different for the 2020 administration. The main thing I want to focus on is this part down here. Cohesive argument. This will be evident throughout your whole paper. Topic sentences are baby thesis statements. Remember, I talked about topic sentences in the previous presentation, talking about paragraphs 101. If you have not heard that presentation, please go back and do that because this is all with idea you heard that. These topic sentences must go in order and how you argued them in your thesis. So again, if you said social, economic, political in your thesis, your body paragraphs must follow that same model: social, economic, and political. Never start a paragraph with a document. You never start it. Always restate your thesis, not in the same exact words, in the beginning and end of the overall essay. Okay, keep going. Again, don't worry about the rubric down here because it's a lot different now. All right, so now paragraphs 2 through 4-ish, give or take. And again, I say for however many documents you have is how many paragraphs you might want to have. However, you also know that some documents overlap, in which case you want to make sure you go ahead and combine those documents. Remember, your body paragraph should be 5 to 7 sentences. Must use at least a total of this time 5 documents accurately. Okay. You must extend at least, again, I'm still saying do 5. I'm just make sure I go over, make sure you guys do totally fine on this DBQ. So I'm saying you must extend at least 5 documents, at least 5 of those documents using intended purpose, intended audience, point of view, historical context, which I consider the easiest. Hello, it's reading and vocabulary. That's all historical context is. And then I suggest doing 5 pieces of extended analysis just in case you mess up one. Again, no partial credit here, okay? And on my blog under historical thinking skills, I have all these really broken down for you. All right. So now, extended analysis documents. No, must go beyond what is stated in the source line of the document and its content. So here's the author's point of view, intended audience, intended purpose, historical context. Here are all some key things to consider. Please make sure you pause and review this. Take note of it, as this will be extremely helpful for you. All right. Now, document-based question, paragraph 5, the paragraph that doesn't use documents. Evidence beyond a document. This 5th paragraph is the one you talk about evidence beyond the documents. Remember, this is different now for the new rubric, so you make sure you just follow what I'm saying as far as doing what you do in this paragraph. You must provide 2 examples of outside evidence that supports one point in your thesis, either be social, or political, or economical. It needs to be specific as possible, okay? These examples cannot be found in the documents. You must use information that's outside of your documents. You must say how they back up your thesis. Can't just plop down the facts. You got to connect it back into your thesis, which is all part of academic writing. Okay? And remember, this document here is more so for general DBQ, but for the 2020 administration, everything you've been seeing these last couple slides are a little bit different. All right, for paragraph 6, this will be your conclusion. This is where you do your synthesis. We're going to talk about synthesis a little bit more in a second. Start this paragraph by restating your thesis statement, similar to what I said in the paragraph 101 presentation. Say, this is similar to, and connected to similar events, persons, or threads. Be specific and say how and why it connects. You got to make sure you do that. This is info that cannot be found in the documents and must be outside of the time period. So if your DBQ is in period 1, this is when you might want to use something to talk about World War II to make connections to it, okay? Then formulate a 1 to 2 summation of your overall paper, okay? This is what you do in the conclusion, which would be your 6 paragraphs. So your whole DBQ should be roughly about 6 paragraphs, okay? Give or take. All right, so this old rubric, I'm going to skip over this because, of course, the new one I posted earlier in. However, this cheat sheet is gold. So go ahead and take a second look at this cheat sheet. And remember, you always want to adjust these points for the new documents. Remember, College Board just recently updated what we're going to be doing for the 2020 administration, which on April 3rd, which today this video got published. So I did not make a lot of changes because it's only going to be for this one particular year. However, if you do these things, you still be able to get some points and you still do pretty well. Remember, the DBQ is now worth a total of 10 points. So here's the skill, thesis, contextualization, evidence analysis. Here's the checklist of things you want to do. And then here's the suggestions right here as well in the right corner. So in a nutshell, the DBQ is now out of 7 points no more. Now it's worth 10 because remember they added those additional points. Previously, the average was about maybe a 1.5. The average of using this method was roughly about 4.3, which means this method works. Okay, so remember, it's going to be out of 10 points, not 7. This is just the old way. So you must have examples not given in several locations. Contextualization is the first paragraph. Extended analysis is going to be the second through 4th. Outside examples will be the 5th, and then the synthesis will be the last paragraph. You cannot double div any examples. Use it one time, that's it. All right, let's speak real quick about synthesis. All right, the difference between synthesis and contextualization. This is always a big issue for students, and I know for my students, I never really cover synthesis till we get to the end, so I'll make sure everybody's tight on everything else. First, contextualization. Events that are similar that are immediately relevant to the question. Try to stick within or really close to the time period given. That's what you're doing with contextualization. Synthesis. So remember, contextualization, beginning of the paper, synthesis at the end of the paper. Events that are similar that are indirectly relevant to the question. must come from a different period or location. For A push, it has to stay within the United States, though. You got to keep that in the United States. The construction of the Erie Canal is similar to the construction of the interstate highway system in the 1950s because that's an example of synthesis. The decline of the Roman Empire is similar to the fall of the Han Empire because that's another example of synthesis. So hopefully this right here gives you more information about synthesis, and then you have more information here about contextualization as well. Okay? That is really all I have for you today. I really hope this information helps you guys out. And again, I am sorry that the new information was not updated to the documents. But remember, I did have the new rubrics here for you at the beginning of the presentation, so you always can reference those. But all of the skills and the suggestions are still noteworthy and it'll be extremely helpful to you. But just make sure you base it off the new rubric. And if you look at the rubric, whatever's highlighted here in green, those are the changes they made for the 2020 COVID-19 school year. That way you know the difference. And remember, make sure you guys go back and review this video that I posted on Paragraphs 101. You can go on my blog, which is drtidwell3.com. It gives you my overall website. Scroll down to where you see AP US History. Click on that American flag, and then you can go find like all the videos I've ever posted. Or you can just go to my YouTube channel, and here's a QR code where you can scan, and also the YouTube URL. Okay, and remember, no matter what, stay positive, stay fighting, stay brave, stay ambitious, stay focused, and all means stay strong. All right, God bless. Peace out.